Hey folks, Steve back with another episode of What's Up New London. Stick around. I'll go over Monday evening's council meeting, get a reminder about the village tree lighting ceremony, and we'll stir up a few baby boomer memories for my fellow boomers with a boomer segment. That's all coming up next on What's Up New London. First off, we'll take a look at the village council meeting Monday. Council took a few actions Monday. They approved the third and final reading of an ordinance that modifies several sections of the codified ordinances that will allow for hunting permits in the Reservoir Park. They approved the second reading of an ordinance appointing the village solicitor. They approved two ordinances on emergency. The first one was amending annual appropriations just to allow the fiscal officer to pay some expenses. And the second one was to select Medical Mutual as the insurance provider for the village employee health insurance in 2024. Council also authorized borrowing $80,000 from the CSX fund for the purchase of water meters. This is for the new improved water meters that'll be cellular. That fund will be reimbursed once the water meter surcharge received start rolling in after the first of the year. And Council also accepted the retirement notice from John Chapin, longtime water superintendent and fire chief, over 48 years dedicated service to the village. Wish John all the best in his retirement. He will return as fire chief starting the first of the year, so we've lost him as water superintendent, but he'll still be around and he'll still be our fire chief. So appreciate John and all his service, and nothing but the best in the future. Up next, we'll take a look at the village Christmas tree lighting ceremony. Hey folks, I don't know about you, but I find it hard to believe that this week's December already. But it is, and that means that this Friday, December 1st, will be the village Christmas tree lighting ceremony. That'll be down at Triangle Park at 7 p.m. on Friday evening. And hey, listen, there's plenty of time left in the holiday season for fruitcake and peppermint and gingerbread. Let's kick things off right with some Mexican food. Chewy's Taco Truck's going to be there serving up some yummy Mexican food. The New London Community Club will be there serving hot chocolate and Christmas tree cake, sponsored by Miller's Market right here in New London. The big man himself, Mr. Santa Claus, is going to be there along with Olive. There'll be Christmas music playing. It's sure to be a great time. I hope to see you there Friday night, 7 p.m. at the Triangle Park for the village Christmas tree lighting ceremony. And next up, just a short boomer segment. It's not a long one, but hopefully it'll knock the cobwebs off a few memories for some of my fellow boomers. Hey folks, for this boomer segment, we'll take a look back at a couple items that hopefully will stir up some boomer memories. Looking back, they're both kind of kitschy and not nearly as technologically advanced as they seemed at the time, but they earned a place in boomer history. The Swanson brothers expanded their line of oven-ready chicken and turkey pot pies in 1953 with the introduction of frozen meals. The Swanson Company's frozen dinner was a turkey dinner. Eventually, the company added chicken and beef entrees. With over half of American households owning televisions by the 1950s, the Swanson brothers called their frozen meals TV dinners, suitable for eating on a folding tray in one's living room while watching television. They sold just 5,000 TV dinners that first year, but just 1 year later, the company had sold over 10 million dinners. The Campbell Soup Company acquired Swanson's 4,000 employees and 20 plants, and by 1956 were selling 13 million TV dinners a year. When Swanson's TV dinners launched in the 1950s, the product competed primarily with home-cooked food and was developed with a relatively low price point for the consumer. But by the 1970s, the increasing number of two-income families and single working parents shifted competition to restaurant food, either eaten at the restaurant or ordered to take home. Societal changes, along with being slow to recognize the increasing importance of the microwave oven in the heat and eat food market, as Swanson continued to use non-microwavable foil trays long after competitors had adopted microwavable plastic and paper trays, led to the downfall from the heydays of the 50s and 60s. You may have thought of them as a letdown, or maybe they were a treat, but either way, I'm sure most boomers ate at least a few of them. This next one you may have enjoyed on those Friday or Saturday night sleepovers, or maybe just staying up late to watch the local crazy late night movie host in those B horror films. Back in the day, tossing a bag of microwave popcorn in the microwave wasn't an option. But thankfully, there was a solution in 1959 when Jiffy Pop hit the market. Jiffy Pop changed hands a few times over the years, today owned by ConAgra Foods with just one stovetop version available, butter-flavored popcorn. Remember, the magic treat is as much fun to make as it is to eat. Well, there's a quick look back at a couple of things that should stir some memories for my fellow boomers. Well, folks, before I close this episode out, just a little commentary. A good friend of mine, Mr. Brian Spiker, posted a comment on Facebook this evening asking if folks thought that shop class should be put back in schools. Well, I don't know if we need 1950s shop class per se. We don't need everybody to be cabinet makers, but some life skills training would definitely be beneficial. It's great that kids these days know how to create CGI and do computer-aided drafting and graduate gods of spreadsheet pivot tables, but they can't even read a tape measure. We need to make sure that when these kids go out into life, they have some basic life skills like how to read a tape measure. It's pretty handy to know the difference between coarse thread, fine thread, and national pipe thread. Nice to be able to replace an electrical switch or a garbage disposal when it breaks, because, hey, we're not all going to be independently wealthy. We can't always just call someone every time somebody breaks. And unfortunately, there's already a generation of young parents out there, through no fault of their own, that don't have the skills to pass them down. So maybe it's time for the schools to think about that and work in some, I'll say, life skills class, and maybe it's a homeowner class, but it's time for bring some of that stuff back for sure. And let's see what everybody thinks, but there's my 2 cents. Well, folks, that's it for this episode of What's Up New London. I hope you found it informative. If you've got items you'd like to hear discussed or events you'd like to have announced, be sure to get them to me. Until next time, as always, stay safe and God bless America.